I had a late night last night.
Ah, I see. Yeah, it's all good, all good. Understandable. Well, what's the latest news?
MRC, the qualifiers are finished, and well, I haven't really found like I know there's a couple flaws with the way I play. I found that I have a problem on the new map. I have an issue playing that the first point and I think the third point on the new map are like really iffy for me. And I was hoping for some insight on that, and also just looking for general advice on how I play because I feel like I could position better, at least on Loki. I feel like I could position a little better.
Okay, so general advice for support overall, and well, seems like Loki is your most played right now, or are there any?
Yeah. So currently, I do play Loki the most. That is my yeah. That's
Understandable. So
my
you not playing the characters like m- I think there was back in the day something like Mantis, Invisible Woman. For the most part, it's just
Mhm.
Loki, right?
I play Invisible Woman and Luna. I play Luna a lot in ranked because I end up with an Ultron or a Jeff or a Rocket a lot of times. I don't want to play Loki with those, so I end up with a lot of playing Luna. But when I'm in my like tournament setting, which is what will happen with the MRC, I'm playing Loki like every game.
Yeah, well, Loki seems pretty decent right now, so
Mm.
it's understandable. Okay, okay, so looking for the general help on Loki, first point new map. Is there anything else? What do you want to focus on?
Maybe like general decision making. I think that comes under positioning, but like certain small things I could do or like playmaking in general. I feel like I've kind of whittled down my mistakes, like the mistakes I make, but maybe I don't have those like big plays. So I have like I completely raised my floor, but maybe I need to raise my ceiling now.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What is your rank at the moment?
I haven't played much ranked at all this season. I was top 1000 early in the season
Top
when it was
1000.
like in I was top 1000 in when it was GM3, and then I stopped playing the game, and so I've like fallen behind now.
Right.
I'm still GM3, but just don't play much ranked.
Yeah, yeah, understandable. Yeah, it's just the more we get into the season, the higher the ceiling's gonna be there
Mm,
usually. So your end goal is just also go for the higher rank there eventually.
yep.
Gonna oh
Eternity top 500. Yep.
yeah, that would be ideal. Okay, okay, let's look into that. Is there a game you want us to look at?
Yeah. I can. I have a game on Invisible Woman and a game on. Actually, no, the game on Invisible Woman. I have like. I know what went wrong there. Let me just. That's my DMs of you. I'll send you this game. I don't have a VOD where we get to third point, either on defense or on attack, whatever. But that third point is also kind of weird for me. I find this map's like very similar to either Watchpoint Gibraltar or Dorado, but I didn't play Overwatch, so I don't have that kind of theory crafting or theory in general.
Right, so it's similar because what? Because verticality
The
or
verticality and like on the third point, you know how on first point Gibraltar you have that kind of over, you go like you dip down underneath a platform.
oh yeah,
Like it's the exact same. And there's like on the second point, there's like you know how you have the bridge on Gibraltar, you have
yeah,
the
of course.
same bridge on second point, and then on this one, it's very similar to that first choke on Dorado because of that like the bridge above on Dorado, like is very similar. It's a really hard choke to push through, in my opinion, but
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I
it's
agree.
one that I struggle attacking it, and then I also struggle defending this point. So it's something I want to look into.
I agree. Yeah, let's try to theory craft because, to be honest, a lot of it is not. There's gonna be always perfect theory, just gonna be based on the
Mm.
previous things we can look into. Maybe some of the map similarities, like you mentioned. Usually, the maps with a lot of verticality, and if there is a strong choke for some reason, a lot of open space to work with, I think it's a lot of to do about the rotations. How do you just get there? And I also think it's a lot about you just able to fight for those points early, if possible. Because if we're talking about second point Gibraltar, if you want to get the ship, or even the first point, if you want to fully get it, you a lot of times able to snowball if you set up early after the one fight. So if you're doing that, that's gonna be a big thing. Yeah, we just can look into that. Are we actually able to do that? Let me just write it down real quick. So when we have those points, it's power positions gonna be setting up there, and probably just rotations overall is just how you do that, and also some other smaller things such as ults, whatever you're doing with those, because sometimes it's gonna be difficult for you to break through and something to set up the tempo with can be just starting over something strong. The ultimate back in the days in Overwatch, the chokes like this, well, just checkpoints like that, those been even more impressive because there have been last way rounds. Now, currently, there also way rounds like they added the left staircase. They also added, I think there was a few structures to play around, right? So this here, I think, still feels that it's not as something what's stopping you really like to get on the point because there's more space to work with, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, can you see the stream, by the way?
Yeah, I can see it. Perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, let's look. Okay, mostly okay, well, mostly Loki as well. Let's see what are we doing. Is there anything you think you struggle with besides the map? Well, you mentioned decision making, just general advice, something you're looking for as well, but is there anything else what stands out for this game?
This game in general, not really. I think we just struggled breaking past that like first point.
Makes
Like
sense.
that,
Okay.
I just maybe I'm a bit lost. I think I'm just plateauing on support right now, and I don't have like a. I don't see what a lot of my issues are now.
Are you doing any sort of what reviews for yourself at the moment?
I've overviewed every one of my. I've overviewed all of the MRC games, including this one, but I did it as like a team-based one and not as like a solo one.
So maybe might be something you want to start looking into 100%,
Yeah.
especially if we're talking about when you're trying to break in the high ranks. Just spend around 10-15 minutes, maybe a little bit more, 20 minutes every week or so. I think 1-2 times 15-20 minutes what review is usually enough. Just quickly assess what are you doing currently. Maybe if you been improving at your position, and maybe you try to improve with your ult usage, maybe there is something else as well. You can quickly look into that and just focus on that variable. Look at every fight and see how you're doing that, how you're doing this and that. Just find something small what you can work on. This way it will be easier, because when we're talking about the high ranks, if you're trying to enter top of 100, there's gonna be nothing crazy like game-changing concept you learn, but it's just mostly gonna be about polishing all those fundamentals you already
Mm.
know, I think. So you're always gonna be finding those small things and just spend the time 15-20 minutes basically every fight. Watch maybe how is my lamp usage. Okay, my lamp usage maybe needs some work with patience here. Maybe just also using the lamp on the wrong target or something, and you can just find it out and quickly fix later on. Yeah, maybe something to implement. Okay, other than that, let's just look at the replay. So you guys rotate all together here. I think there are a few interesting things you can do. I was not playing this map as much, but I was watching others play this map. I seen a lot of that people not utilizing a lot of those lanes. So see this here. This is something what allows you to get to the back line. There's also something what allows us to get to the left as well. Yeah, if we ever struggle breaking through the choke in general, you'll typically notice just try to find some sort of an angle. But yeah, let's see how that's gonna go for us. Is that a tournament game as well? It seems like it,
Yeah,
right?
this is a tournament game.
Yeah,
This is
you're
from the MRC.
playing
Just
in its last weekend.
last weekend.
Right, so might be also good to look at this through perspective of the team a little bit more, because when we're doing those type of reviews, it's definitely a lot about what are you doing, but also what you can bring to the table to just help your team in a way to achieve the win
The-
condition, right?
yeah. Just the
So
problem is, like, I also have this issue in ranked as well. Like my last game I played, I was six stacking, but I got full held in on this map. Like I mean, like 1.5 meters full held.
makes sense. Makes sense. I think there are gonna be definitely some individual things we can apply and just do in ranked or like in a team no matter what. I just think when we in a team here, there's a lot about how you guys are planning. Are you actually on the same page, and what are you exactly doing, what your role for the team is, so you can make the things happen a lot of times. Actually, to ask that question, what are your responsibilities for the team at the moment? What are you doing currently?
Um, I ult track and I do like half of the shot calling, I'd say. So I do a fair bit of shot calling and I ult track. And then I play everything. I play all the supports. Is just what ends up happening. That's kind of my main responsibilities, just ult tracking, shot calling.
Makes sense. And so for the shot calling, you pretty much just participating in the planning for the most part. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I mean. Okay. Okay. So I think because you do that, it's going to be especially important to look into what are you guys going to be doing if you ever struggle with those choke points or just whatever you just feel it's hard for you to break through. Maybe just the quality of the planning, something we can also go over. It's more of a team thing, but yeah, we can also maybe look into that as well. Well, let's keep watching. Just trying to find whatever is going to help us the most. If we're talking about the scrims, planning is definitely the priority. If it's just some individual things, yeah, then ranked, it's somewhere where we can apply it. Okay, so first off, I just want to ask you right away, because playing in a team here, what was your plan? What have you guys been
Plan
looking to
here.
do? Yeah.
Okay, so we played this map like a little bit earlier on in a I think it was a warm-up scrim, and we didn't support our Hela on the high ground as much. So and the Hela was complaining about it. So we thought, okay, well we're gonna help Hela out on this right side high ground where my ammo is. We're gonna help our Hela out and like fully support them and like all go up there to like make sure that they survive. But we still need to like touch point and push cart.
True.
So it's
Is that something what you called, or you guys just decided, okay, in the water
we
view,
we
let's
we
try to go and help out the Hela
we
altogether?
we decided just to give it a try. It wasn't in the VOD view. This was like just between matches. I think the I think actually it wasn't even a scrim. It was like the first match. This is like the ninth match of the tournament, I think. But they were complaining in the first match of the tournament. So it was so here we just tried it out because we don't like
Yeah.
we have issues on this map and like just trying things out to see what works. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's probably the best course of action for us
Mm-hmm.
at the time.
Mm-hmm. I think it's good. Yeah, that is perfect. When you try to experiment, try to find new solutions, I just think there are two things a lot of teams struggle with. They either don't have a plan at all when we go in the fight, or the quality of the plan might be off. Okay, so I think in your case, I would definitely work on the quality of the plan here. Okay, let's just maybe write it down. Okay, we can have two things. Okay, plan itself and quality. Now, when we have this situation, when you guys walk all the way to help out the Hela, what are the pros and cons of this? What do you think?
Well, if everyone goes up there, there's no like, it's not pulling attention from anywhere. All the attention's in one place, and that's all the attention in one place is not good.
Oh yeah,
Also, we get no like pressure on the cart, so we don't even capture the cart. I mean, the focus is winning the team fight first, and then pushing the payload on this part of the map
yeah,
because
this is true. Okay.
it's because the payload's pretty much on the corner they're holding.
Okay.
But I did talk to them afterwards, and I thought that maybe instead of our Hela taking the high ground that she's on right now, that we go to this left, that me on Loki and my Hela, or even just my Hela by herself, or my Hela and the Mag, whatever, go on this left side high ground
Mm.
behind or where this bridge is through there, and poking out from there, and it's just much better. Better cover usage. B, way more, yeah, through here it's B, way more
Yeah.
accessible, and then like the line of sight is actually better than where it is right now.
Yeah, depending on what we attack as well. Yeah, if we attack this, then it definitely feels that there's a slightly
Yeah.
better line of sight when they're gonna be turned in the corner. Maybe you can try this out, but see, fundamentally, there's a big problem as well, right? When we have all those people grouped up working in one place. So let's say you have the Hala on that left side,
Mm.
like you suggested. Maybe even we can have you. Okay, fine, but what the others will be doing with you? Do they walk together with you on the left side? Are they doing anything else?
Oh, the others would, yeah, maybe the others take up this right side. Maybe the others, barring like one tank. Maybe you have one tank on the payload, and then
Okay.
have the others on this where everyone currently is, playing this high ground, forcing out anyone that's standing there. And then yeah, the Hela can play the angle I was talking about, which is a full 90 degrees off angle.
Okay, okay. Let's just look at this through perspectives of the group split, okay? Let's just make it simple, because there can be different group splits. Let's just come up with the A and B group split. Okay, so what is that is, we can just have two groups of people which are
Yeah,
doing
three
something.
three, 4-2, and
Yeah.
then 5-1.
Yeah, well, for example, but at least it's good to start with two, and then you can maybe also separate the others based on that too. Okay, so technically
Mm-hmm.
what we're gonna have is, I have this group A on the left side. That will be Hala, okay? And there's gonna be take an angle here, and it's also gonna be you, or is it gonna be
Yeah.
anywhere else? Okay.
It could be me. It could be a Magneto. It just could be Hela by themselves. We'd have to experiment.
Experimenting is definitely something what's worth to do, I think. If you look at your support line, who do you
I,
think is better at supporting those kind of angles in
oh,
general?
Loki. The person with the most movement is Loki. That's what. The reason I play Loki is I end up playing the support that can like support the angle more. Actually, I'll go there on Loki. If it depends on where they're holding. If they're holding the low ground like they are, I think I leave my Hela there by themselves. But if they're holding up and like they're all holding up where we're holding,
Okay.
so currently where my Iron Man is, where my Luna is, if they're holding
Yeah.
up on that corner up there, then I go by on the angle too to support the angle because I get way more value because I would
Okay.
get way less value if I go as they are right now, as they're defending. But if they're holding if they're holding that angle on the high ground,
Mm-hmm.
then I go with my Hela and I get way more value from that.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. That might work. And see, at least you solved the problem where all you guys are stacked in together. What about your Luna Snow? What are they supporting? What's their job on your team?
My Luna Snow supports the main, the core.
What about
I like to.
their this orb thing? Where do they put it?
They put it on the Hela.
They put it on the
Actually, we
Hala.
haven't. We have. Well, I've seen a lot of pro play that they put it on the Hela, but I think actually right here you might put it on the Iron Man just for the
Mm.
sustain. He needs to sustain more. But I see a lot of time in pro play they put it on the Hela because it lets me do slightly less healing and more damage, and B, it means if I die on Loki, my Hela still gets some kind of sustain and can still play the angle.
Yeah.
But I think here the Iron Man probably needs the. I also saw that a lot of teams moved to putting on the Human Torch last season when he was like, or last half season when he was like absolutely broken
Right. And see, this is
because
where
he
yeah.
needs to
Okay, continue.
sustain.
Yeah. This is exactly what you will see a lot. Like why Orb is so strong a lot of times, I think, because it's similar to Zenyatta's Orb. You can put it on some sort of guy who will be not in line of sight, and there have been no changes to the Orb, right? It's still not line of sight based, right? You just put it, and the person can go anywhere, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's really crazy still. It's you put an Orb, and you can technically have that person constantly trying to take an angle, go for free anywhere they want. Like with Zenyatta, it was not possible, but still, because of the orb can exist on the person for a really long time, they could just try to put it on a Tracer, or could try to put it on a Genji, yeah? So in Syria, what seems like Hala is doable if they take really aggressive angle where we're not able to see them. And Iron Man can also be doable for the same reason, because of verticality. Additionally, I think a general can be a little bit of a priority here, but Hala can also be decent, but you have to choose. We see, you have to understand what our group splits, because here we already formed two. Yeah, it's Hala, Loki, maybe it's B, Iron Man, and this, and this also, Luna Snow, can go into the other group splits, such as maybe C, can be your tank line. I'm not sure your tank line can also be flexible. Yeah, like you mentioned, maybe we can put the Magneto over here as well. Yeah, we can, generally speaking, have Emma Frost at the front line, because they are just gonna be more of a brawl tank. They usually don't have that capability to do much on the angles, but see, you kind of flexible with where the people go, but understand the essentials. Maybe start with something where you form some sort of maybe 2-2 or something, and then understand which person can rotate to the others. Yeah, it's not like all the time sit with a Hala on Loki, or sit together with Luna Snow and Iron Man. Yeah, we can just try to come up with something, and then later understand who can make the rotation and when. This is a little bit more complex to do, but start with something, because now my problem is we don't have any groups for it right now. Right, so we gotta work on that somehow. Yep, we need to make sure this is gonna be easier, and if we talked about breaking through the checkpoint here, it's gonna be important, right? So
What's your opinion on the Loki and Hela? You see that like yellow teleporter in the bottom left?
yeah,
You know,
actually,
you know where that goes, right? Or no?
I actually not too. Where is that gonna go?
Okay, so up top here,
Yeah,
in
here,
it
yeah.
come to that teleporter on your right. So if
Yeah.
Loki and Hela go through there, or even have three of them go through there and just contest the Loki and Hela on high ground, is that a decent play or no?
Well, if you look at this, what are the pros and cons? If the team's here, if we expect the team here in Syria, like, just, it highly depends on where they hold. Okay, if you see this kind of situation, well, what do you think? Is it doable? What if yes?
I think we
Then
have
why?
better cover. I think we have better cover than the Hela does if we take this. And also, if you look at their like lineup, their Strange can maybe come and help out, but I think we probably pick off a Loki or Hela before then. The issue is we have no way of getting out. That's my like biggest concern here. Is you can't take that teleporter back. So if you get pressured hard enough, you just have to die, or Loki TP's out and abandons the Hela or something
Yeah.
like that. On the Hela can fly out and maybe go to this platform on the left above the teleporter on the left side of your screen, but it's there's no like escape route. You kind of have to do or die here.
What if we have the tank with us, like Mag, for example?
Oh, if you have a mag with us, then you can like bubble it out. If the Strange tries to fly up, he can like right click on the Strange and send him backwards.
Yeah.
Knock him out of the air. It completely like shuts down anything. I think if you send a mag with this, it like we win this like high ground, and then we can just poke out from behind the tanks, and a Loki and a Hela poking out from behind the tanks. Maybe the Magneto drops and just like bullies the Strange from behind. It just splits attention, and you just win the fight off that.
That is perfect. So see, the essential thing, what we are trying to achieve with the splits is, first off, we need to have something defensive, what's gonna absorb pressure. I think a lot of times it's not always necessary, but you can, generally speaking, you should have that. That's why when the early Overwatch days, we could maybe have two group splits. You could have one off tank moving somewhere with them. There are also others moving behind, and then there's a main tank, and there's another group. Yeah, you can kind of try out this way. You just think what does damage plus what has defensive, what can tank things, plus, I'm just gonna write it down, plus what can absorb pressure, because not necessarily can be the tank. You can start that, have maybe one group Hala, Loki, Mag move together, and then there's another group which is more stationary, kind of have them over here, probably Emma there with Luna, and this Iron Man, but you can also have a third group split, so those two people can potentially try to go somewhere on the angle as well. Well, at least Luna Snow can support that indirectly, right? So suddenly we have this kind of 3 angles going from multiple places. Yeah, maybe you can try this out. I'm just gonna write it down. So our group split can be Hela, Loki, plus, well, Loki or Luna Snow. We mentioned that because I think still can be viable to support Yahala sometimes with E, depending on the map. Or the group split can be Iron Man. Yeah, it's Iron Man and Luna, and can also be group splits such as Emma plus Iron Man plus Luna, sort of. But Iron Man, it feels they're gonna be on the angle more. At least with this, we kind of formed a 3 group split. Maybe we can start with that. What do you think? Is it sounds like a okay plan for now?
That sounds fine. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah. So maybe something to start with, because why not? You can try to experiment. The only problem I have when you try to fight for these positions with the long range character, if there are more brawl characters there, maybe for some reason they hold this high ground, then it will be more
So you
difficult.
have to scout.
Yeah,
You have to scout first. That's all. So if we look out, we see the Hela and Loki on high ground. Those two are probably a really big reason why we couldn't get past this choke. Because Loki poking is like actually ridiculous. I dropped the most damage in the game on Loki, like on one of my comp games last night. And I DC'd too. Like it was like, Loki's disgusting when he pokes out. So having that
Yeah, continue. Sorry.
just having that like Loki poke is like ridiculous to get through. So you need to like get him out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Something we should have done.
Exactly.
But here, like my entire team's dead. We have to regroup here. Like I got rezzed, but I need a second I res, I'm gonna like put a lamp on my tanks and just leave.
And see your angles, at least for you. Yeah, if you're talking about specifics of how you play, is gonna be really important to try to take a group split where we're able to do long range pressure. Yeah, because this angle for this is perfect because it's not as easy for them to get to me. And here it can be easy as well, just only if there's no brawl sweat, but you can scout for that. And even Mag can contest the point from here. I can just move all this way and just keep shooting. What this guy's gonna do? You don't have to have the Mag fighting face to face. It's Amorphros who's taking more advantage of that. Mag can be anywhere on those top positions, basically. And bubble anyone too, and you can potentially just trying to think about anything else. Yeah, long range pressure, constant damage output. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, just keep that in mind. You on Loki need to have the long range pressure for the most part. It's just that's why you get punished here. It's another big thing. Short range angles went on us. There was Star-Lord and Emma, if I'm not mistaken, and we just got deleted, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can apply it on any map. You just need to start with solving 2 things. What are group splits? Make sure those are happening at all. And you need to have long range pressure. See, here I don't think it's too comfortable. Even though we're trying to support the Hala, yes, makes sense. But how we support the Hala directly, who is going to stay with them? Maybe if they decide to take this angle. I'm not sure if it's even you who has to be with them. Right? Because see,
they can. It doesn't have to be. It could be like the Mag or whatever. Yeah. Right now, though, like
Luna.
My Luna's just come back from spawn, so I've just been keeping people up for now.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of in theory, yeah. Later on, if they decide to take that, we can always be flexible finding who's gonna support them, but then we'll also have another group which doing something towards this here as well, at least. Yeah, we can have different group splits. Now you guys kind of it feels like you guys get a little bit stuck. Yeah? There's this pressure here, and there's a Hala on the right side angle. They didn't receive too much support because there's no... I don't think there's an orb on them as well. And right now, well, let me just see real quick. I'm curious because if you guys can figure this out quickly, who supports what and when, it's just gonna be so much easier. Yeah, like now, okay, there's this, and yeah,
The
there's
orb's on the Iron Man. Yeah.
yeah, so just something to figure out. You can talk about that, solve that. I think right now, the Iron Man, why we need to ever orb someone? Okay, it's mostly because we cannot see that person is orbed. He can have that little bit of little bit of more carry potential this way while we're not seeing them. That's why we can orb the halo. We can just try to go on anyone else who is more flankish. And that's fine. So if we're talking about general things, why it's hard for you to guys break through this? Yeah, you guys have to figure this out a little bit. Okay, for you though, I just wonder, okay, this fight is over. What can we do afterwards? We have an ultimate, so this can be the pretty big thing as well. With
Yeah, I'm gonna insta-copy Luna the second. Oh.
I'll just watch a little bit before.
My Iron Man wasn't. My Iron Man here, ignore him. He was like hard tilted and had his mic muted the entire tournament.
Yeah, you know.
So just ignore him.
No, I think it's fine. Okay, I think it's fine. If we, because you asked for what kind of decisions I can be improving on,
Yeah.
right? And we mentioned that partially, if you have the plan, then it's gonna be easier for you to do pressure on the map. But what's good about it as well, if you have the plan, like we mentioned about the group splits, yeah, I can go this left side, or can maybe make a rotation here. Yeah, you can partially make the plan around that. And I really want you to think, what is your next plan gonna be, such as proactive? In a way, right now, it's still kind of the same thing. Yeah, we're kind of a little bit too stacked together. But when you're doing that, anyway, your job as support to just always find out who's the most active at the moment. How do I support that? How do I support the singles? Even though you're not taking any group split, yeah, in theory, if you would be, then yeah, you probably your attention would be in that person who you walk with. But now we're not doing that. So anyway, the job stays the same. We wanna look at who is the most active right now, and just look at the triggers. Always read the situation right now. How does it feel like? Who is the most aggressive? Who is the most active at the moment?
Probably my Iron Man or my mag.
Yes, yeah, Iron Man or the mag, both of them. But based on what? What are the triggers for you to look
Based
for?
on positioning.
Okay.
So positioning and then the cover they have. Well, positioning, cover they have. The mags is super far forwards, and then also who's using cooldowns. And my Iron Man's just used his E ability, his like power up ability. So he's the most aggressive right now.
Yeah.
He's used his cooldowns. He's positioned aggressively. No cover.
Yeah, exactly. So few triggers, right, for us to look for. It's can be based on, I think this was perfect position. Can also be HP, status of the cooldowns. If they use the cooldowns, typically there's a chance they will get focused harder. And I think the positioning, well, just position itself, it's important to mention anyone who is taking more off-angle option, kind of more aggressive, it doesn't matter what, even this can be considered off-angle slightly because they go up instead of being down with the rest of the team. This is gonna usually receive more pressure. So your attention on the off-angle is gonna be really crucial. Another thing I just want to mention is the status of the ultimates as well. Whoever has an ultimate, this guy will typically try to be more aggressive. Well, obviously it depends. You can again plan around that. What's our next plan going forward? Actually, do you remember if you guys had a plan? Yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, let's just start. I'm just gonna finish up with the ultimates. Ultimates, something to look for as well. Okay, but okay. Now, this one might be good to also discuss through this because you have your own ultimate. What was your plan going forward? With
my plan was I tend to like pretty much use my Loki ult off cooldown, like not like exactly off cooldown, but like pretty much as soon as I get it, at the next available opportunity, I'll swap to Luna and I'll become Luna for a bit. Like I'll do that at the start of a team fight as we engage, or I'll do that midway if I get it halfway through, just to have the option. So here I grab the Luna ult so we can push through the choke. If we had the Iron Man ult here, then we can use it to. I knew the Loki and the Luna would have ult on the enemy side, so I just we had the Iron Man ult planned for. Well, he couldn't confirm with us because he was typing in text chat, but but the Iron Man ult was for Luna or Loki, and then we also had Mag ult for Luna or Loki as well.
Did you guys call that out when doing this?
No, we did. We tracked that.
Track that. Okay,
and
perfect.
So I copy Luna here to start the engagement off because I just thought we'd be closer. I thought even if we're not closer, like I'm Loki. I just get my ult so fast it doesn't matter.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So I mean, even just like, there you go.
No, I just wanted to say I would be curious to also hear the comms during this, because this might be also partially can solve the problems with those situations. You ever struggle on the points like this, or just in general, might be interesting to take a look at, and just can write it down as well for the future. Maybe if you're gonna have any comms recorded, we can also go with that too. But I think what I mentioned there, if you track and if you had a plan, like we're gonna do this, try to pay it out this with that is perfect. But then you also need to play accordingly. Okay, so this fight, if we're going in, yeah, do you remember how you've been phrasing the plan at all? It's just what the ultimate's gonna be used first. What are we trying to force out? Or
I tend to do it like a question. I'll say something like, I'll say what I'm gonna do, and then I'll ask people like, I'm gonna copy Luna here.
That's fine.
Can I'm gonna copy Luna here. We can walk up, or can my Hela go on this? Can my Hela like take this angle, and I'll ping it, or can my Hela contest this? Just something like that.
Yeah, so they
with
can
ultimates, or like
help
if we had, we can do something like, can we combo Iron Man and Emma here? Is something I'd probably call as well. Just I'd ask for combos, ask for ultimates, and then like I'd tell people when I'm gonna ult. I'm gonna ult this team fight.
Yeah.
Or I'll copy Luna, start of the next fight, something like that.
Okay. Do your team also talk quite frequently what they're gonna be doing with their ultimate? So do you just kind of lead them and tell them what to do?
They tend to say like, I mean, yeah, they tend to say what they want to do. I think my mag asks like what he like looks for what he can ult, and maybe asks what can I ult on their comp or whatever. But I think for the most part, people just use ults like it's solo queue.
Because I wonder, it's just what is happening there. Might be really interesting for me to listen to comms, because it might be partially the effectiveness of the comms, maybe when, what, where it's always can be improved. Okay, it may be still pretty valuable right now based on what you mentioned, I think. But another thing is also listening. And yeah, you kind of mentioned, well, for example, that guy, well, they've been maybe a little bit tilted, and they're not on the same page. Because I wonder, well, these things shouldn't be happening. If we have the plan around something, let's make sure this is sort of a trigger for us to do something, be active, right? I don't want to be more aggressive and get most of my cooldowns forced before the plan happens. Okay, so that is something to address for you guys as a team. I just wonder, well, make sure there's a synchronization there. You've been on the same page, but yeah, we can talk about that later a little bit more as well. Because now it's really unfortunate. You lost the Iron Man, you lost the lamp.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just not gonna go too well for you guys. And we also kind of don't have the group split too, so yeah, it will be difficult, I think. Where on the enemy team, it really seemed like they did this kind of a group split a little bit. They had this guy on Star-Lord contesting from here a little bit. Sometimes.
Yeah, they had a 3-1-2. They had the two tanks and the Luna playing together, the Star-Lord playing by himself, and then the Hela and the Loki poking from the back.
Yeah, exactly. And I think mostly for them it will be, again, you put this, because you say, well, and you've probably seen that in the pro play, what they put the orb on, like mentioned the Hela, but what is based on? Yeah, if you can see the Hela, then do that. But in this case, you can also be Star-Lord, so it's like the same thing with your comp. Anybody takes more aggressive angle, you can see them for some time. I think it's fine if you put an orb on them, like with Zenyatta, really. You just allow them to be more aggressive. And now it's a bit tough, yeah, it's just, you're getting surrounded, and the tension, it gets all over the place, so here you go. That's how you break through the choke. Just find the splits, creative splits. Really like the idea of the portal. You have to test it, I think. You have to come up with something there too. Now it seems really tough. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's just go back
I spoke about this. I think my mag altered like for the Star-Lord ult, even though we had a Luna ult down.
Yeah.
And I spoke with them afterwards and I just said, yeah, like that's a slight misplay. Like especially when you have the Luna ult down, you don't need to do that. They copy Iron Man and ult us, which
yeah.
I mean, wasn't a play he probably thought they could do, but. I also don't think the Magneto ult here right now is like needed at all. I think it's overkill.
If we're talking about you as well, and that is brings us to the previous point, we talked about support or even deal with active angles. Doesn't matter your team or the enemy team. Okay, if you look at this situation here, who is the most active right now?
Well, probably my tanks.
Well, on the enemy.
My Magneto. On the enemy?
Yeah.
Probably the Star-Lord's the most active. He's ulting.
Star-Lord's ulting, right?
We haven't, like, the actual answer is the Loki is just TP'd onto the high ground, but,
yeah.
Like, we don't see that.
Yeah.
He's TP'd, that could have just been a clone placement, right? Like, we don't know that he's TP'd up there, and then he just goes invisible instantly.
Yeah, so, this is true. Maybe if you guys can notice that, then maybe this can be the part. So all this clone just kind of appeared over here. I guess it's been over there, but yeah, it's at least if you're shooting the Star-Lord, it's much better decision, or shooting the Loki, because this way we can push them away. Yeah, we don't want to be shooting in this. I think currently, you definitely have to deal with something what's more important. It feels, just make sure.
I'm shooting. I'm shooting in that just to build ult charge. I'm on 38% already, even though I just ulted. Just because if I'm in a Luna ult facing another Luna ult, I am just going to be holding left click with all my clones down and getting like my entire ult back really fast. And that was was the plan here. But I think I probably could have reacted to when the Loki copies Iron Man. I could have just like reacted a bit better, put a clone down and TP'd out. I didn't have rune, and I just died because I didn't have rune. Whereas I could have just TP'd out and sacrificed my Luna.
I just wonder, because building new charge makes sense, but what do you think is more viable? Building new charge here versus dealing with a map control over there? That's my question.
Yeah, the issue is there's actually no way of me knowing that that's the real Loki. Like, that's just that could be a clone to me. And I mean, I also did not see him put a clone up there because I'm too focused on the main choke.
Yeah, and see, this is just. Let's even ignore the Loki. Let's say we don't know this is happening yet. Then what about the Star-Lord, right? What about maybe that clone's been there for a while as well, but yeah, obviously not the priority sometimes when there's a lot of things happening over here. But the Star-Lord's still there, for example. So I wonder what can be the higher priority in this case. I'm not sure because right now, this seems what you guys lose to. It's not to the ult charge, not because you have an ultimate, but it's the map control itself, right? Obviously, you cannot predict everything. Ideally, you can be also ult tracking and thinking what kind of ultimate they got, so you can try to force it somehow, like even the Loki ultimate. So it'd be good to find ways for us to pressure initially. Yeah, it's just one of the variables. And if you look at what is the most active based on the position, based on the HP, based on the cooldowns, ultimates, we really want to look into that a little bit more, I think. So I wonder if this is even going to be too viable play, like farming ult charge. In Overwatch, I would say most of the time, it's not going to be the valuable. Why? Because we not really close to ultimates, and well, in this game there's more sustain, so it might be slightly different. But the thing is, usually when we trying to just control the objective, control the space around it, we usually want to make sure the mob control is solved somehow, because you want to get rid of their pressure and establish your own pressure. You see, like eventually a pressure wins. Yeah, if we're trying to compare, okay, like what I can do with the healing numbers, and we just like maybe farming. Yeah, farming healing numbers, farming the ultimate, maybe by shooting the main as well. The pressure is from the map control and just general damage output matters so much more, because you cannot out sustain this eventually. Like, for example, that Iron Man one shot is just gonna just melt everybody, well, partially because of just where we are, but I definitely think you guys need to find ways to deal with this first. Yeah, because there's also Hala coming in. Yeah, do we know that there's been Star-Lord fighting? Yeah, and it's just this is like a consequence. This is one of the symptoms. Yeah, it's just you could be also dying to anything else there as well. Okay.
Our general issue here is also because of how Star-Lord works is if we get out of this Lunar Snow ult, you just get insta-bursted. So it's kind of I mean, but then I just have to pocket them, and that works fine as well.
Okay.
I just pocket them outside of the Star-Lord ult.
Yeah, so just see
reset.
how you guys gonna be. You guys have to reset a little. Just try to.
We're in the team fight here. We push a little bit.
Yep. So same thing. Just watching for what our group splits are, and I want us to think where's the activities happening. Put the attention in there as much as possible. Have the most valuable angle. So even in here, it's a really small thing, but generally speaking, I don't think it's too valuable for you to maybe start healing this guy, but shoot this if possible. Yeah, maybe it's just not can be the most convenient, they can dodge it, but just the pressure itself you put, I think it's gonna be much more valuable. Also the fact given there's already bubble, but yeah, this is just something I see. I want you to also try to find the option to push those angles away, possibly a little bit more. Yeah, because otherwise, this here, it gets too much resources. They just not getting enough pressure. It's not that we have to stay with the support or we have to just be too cautious. Yeah, play together. Like some people say, I don't think so. Maybe we can just try to do a little bit more pressure. Try to find ways for you to do so too. That's what it feels like, at least from what I see it just with group splits. Of course, this also can be big help too, but yeah, okay. Do you want to keep watching this, or do we also watch any other? We pretty much solved the group splits. Yes, this is understandable.
Maybe to look at how we set up on defense. I think you'll find a similar problem though on defense.
Yeah, we can figure this out a little. Yeah, let's talk about that. You can come up with the solutions. So what do you think? Your comp is different, but yeah, what do you think your setup should be looking like?
I think our setup should look like pretty similar. Maybe have a 4-2 split now instead of a
4-2 with who?
3-2-1, just because of the Bucky existing. Here though, like I think our setup's just like rough. I think we just all like clump together. Like they just play one Moon Knight and we all die. It's just it's bad setup. Scroll Girl just diffs us here. I think that's a big issue we had. I remember in our warm-up scrims, we struggled into a Scroll Girl because I think we all just play like this, like in this one big clump, and just die.
I wonder.
I think it's something we addressed before with my Hela, just taking more angles, but I think they got better at it. But what the hell? What's going on? Oh, the Star-Lord's behind him. I was gonna say the map just started. Yeah, don't worry. I'm noticing stuff. I thought they'd just come out of spawn and the Star-Lord just like teleported behind us somehow.
Yeah, actually taking the split right away, yeah. Yeah. Just something for you guys to also notice too. Yeah, are they gonna be taking those splits as well? Yeah, do you actually know this is happening? I think there's a... Did they even teleport? I think they just kind of walked through there.
No, they didn't. They just walked around. Yeah. No, I meant more I thought the round just started and somehow we had something behind us as they were leaving spawn.
Right. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just like a
So
weird. It's like it's the sound being off on the thing. It's like 5 seconds behind when they're doing the countdown.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But now you know. Now you know this is
Mm.
also something for you guys to watch out for. There are actually a lot of angles for them to break around. Yeah, there's a lot of the things we can be trying to keep in mind keep in mind. So I'm not sure. I think it feels this high gun feels okay-ish, but the fact given you comp you run, I wonder. I wonder if we should even defend over here, but you have to think about that a little bit more. So my okay, my problem is if there's this capabilities with this how it's possible to take angles, and also the fact given there's also teleports. By the way, this teleport isn't that leading from here to here, or is
No.
it on top? Yeah,
So
it's
so so
go
that so that that one goes on top,
yeah
and the blue one, if you go forwards a little bit,
yeah
you just
this
like
here.
walk through main choke. You look, yeah, that one. Look to your left or look behind you now.
Uh,
180 degrees
behind
from
me.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so on top of this
On
like
top
platform
of
that
it.
you're looking at.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So you can use it as like a quick escape if you're like Luna vaulting and they're gonna
okay,
like mag out on top of you, or
okay,
just to like reposition,
okay, okay,
kite the fight. It's pretty good.
okay. So let's just talk about. We mentioned long range pressure. We love that. I think at least with your composition, it feels like a little bit more compared to their composition. So I wonder when those situations happen. Usually, what we want to is make sure we have our pressure set up this way, so we're able to have distance from those short range angles. Okay, it's just the idea for any poke comp you play. That's why those are mostly played on the long range maps as well. This map is also possible, right? But there's a potential for this to happen. Also potential for this to happen where you're not able to control that too much, I think, because they still can enter the teleport. So I wonder if this setup can be too good of a solution to deal with those short range angles getting close to you. What do you think? Is it okay one?
I
Maybe yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I think my Bucky playing up here is fine. I think my Bucky and my tanks playing here is fine.
Okay.
I think me and Cloak shouldn't be in the same spot. I think it's just best I play with the Hela here, especially knowing they have like a Star Lord
Mm.
and they have that kind of like
So Hala,
high
you guys go
mobility,
all the
short
way
range
here
pressure.
or where?
Well, I can play with my Hela, or I can call my Hela to hang back and we play the long angle. I don't think we do though. I think just because we don't have that like 3-2-1 like they do, we can't really hang back like that. We
Yeah.
need to, but I need to play like with my Hela on an angle here
Yeah. Okay.
because
So it will be here. It will be even here, you mean? Or
here or even just where the Hela's standing right now. Maybe there's like a lot of places
yeah,
you can play at,
can be the
and
solution actually.
I'm just as effective. I'm just as effective where like on this angle as I would be on main because of how Loki works.
Okay. I see this is actually solving your problem a little bit because you're able to poke out those guys earlier. Okay, if we're talking about controlling open space, I mean, if you guys playing in a poke, you just want to poke them early so they can be two solutions. Seems this more proactive one. I like that more, generally speaking, if possible. You have the lone sideline, you can poke out anyone who comes in, and the Star Lord or anyone else, doesn't matter. There's this still. Yeah, they can kind of maybe sneak around, probably, but
But
yeah.
if we're playing up there, it's pretty obvious to see them go down there. So it's
Yeah, yeah. So it will be at least it will be easier. But yeah, they kind of have this option to hide from you. That's the only thing. But yeah, it should be all right. Or the solution is at least having this option because we need to have distance somehow solve this. This shouldn't be too easy opportunity for short range angles to get on you. You need to find the option. Okay, I'm gonna write it down this way. Have distance from short range angles. Whenever we play against the Brawl, again, we play against Dive, Overwatch, and here still it will be important. And we cannot fight too close. If these guys have full resources when they dive us, we might be under a lot of pressure. And this is what happens to you partially, I think. You just get the pressure around. This guy just lives on the short range, and they continuously re-engage, and then there's a lot of pressure going on there, and yeah, you guys now all clumped up in that one space. I think this is over. It should be over if they play right. Then you just need to
What
force it.
outside of a team environment, like with the splits and whatever, what can
Yeah.
I like? What can I like if I was gonna take this into like ranked solo queue or whatever? Is there anything I can work on that way,
Yeah,
or what
yeah,
should I be working
yeah,
on that
yeah.
way? Even?
Let's look at the pseudo what we talked about as well. Activity, yeah. There's been one of the things which did stands out to me, yeah. So if we've seen this, for example, mentioning just whoever is gonna be the most active, somehow dealing with that can be communication, partially, but also can be your pressure. Well, communication because team environment, we're just letting our guys know this is happening. We are gonna be maybe reposition, deal with that, and also seeing, yeah, who is the most active. This is what it feels like. I don't think there's, especially when I'm looking through the lens of the scrim, is always so much more important with what kind of plan you come up with, and this is you the big part of that. The big part of the plan to me. If you're in a solo queue, then yeah, there will be different situation, but this is just so much more important. And with how you guys set up, with you coming up with the best plan, so I think for now this fight at least looks okay, but the previous one, definitely more attention on the activity based on the triggers. That's what it feels right away. Now this is okay, everybody is clumped up together. Just basically look at anyone who is the most frontliney. You might just try to make sure there's more support on this Magneto for the most part, yeah. The space is really uncomfortable there. Okay, clock and
Yeah,
dagger
my
makes
mag dies
sense.
while I'm trying to copy, and like, and also the point's just moving, so I have to. I ping it. I get my ember to drop down,
Yeah.
which maybe I should have been the one to drop down, but
Yeah, you guys gonna be cooked in here. I'm not gonna lie. It's just because of
yeah.
the how there's no long range pressure going on. I wonder, okay, if we're talking about you individually, playing, even if you guys playing for this space, I don't know. Should you even play inside this? Should you go somewhere else? Because this is so uncomfortable. You guys forced. But for the most part, I think it's your planning. But I don't think there's even a bad angle to take if this happens. What do you think?
I think it's very. I mean, for me, it's very comfortable for Loki. I'm just getting constant ult charge, but and no one's dying, so we're doing okay. But I don't think I had lamp for my mag. That was like the one problem. I was looking for copy, and while I was looking for copy, he dies.
If we're thinking through the lens of the poke, applying pressure as well, is it, well, it's comfortable with dual charge, but is it comfortable for you to pressure inside the space? Is there's even an option for us to pressure too easily? You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, we can. I think I get similar effectiveness if I play this like on the high ground on the right side past the pit. I just shoot into here for free.
Maybe
Yeah, where
there's
this
only
hell is
problem.
playing.
This sideline here, you cannot you cannot see what's happening around the wall. It seems, but yeah, it's just mostly because of the team setup. But this is why this is also crucial too. You
No, I think I can see what's happening behind the wall. If you go back to that high ground on behind you, where
yeah, you're
the
talking
enemy hell
about
is playing
this.
right now. Yeah, if I play that very far right, oh no, I can't thread the needle. Okay, never mind. I thought I could.
Yeah, there's not looking
There
good.
might be a way. I'm pretty sure you can like drop down.
This is
There might
also
be a way to
partially can
thread the needle.
be, not sure if we can place the clone anywhere on this walls, but yeah, it's just it's not comfortable. So see, that's why I'm want to emphasize this: control open space, find a ways for you to do so. It's not only we want to heal and farm more charge, which is important, but in the games
Just
like
doing
this,
damage and
yeah, the damage output is crucial. Even though it's yes, it's everyone says damage. I think there are a lot of content creators that also say that, but the just capability for you to do so, it's so crucial, because if you don't, then you're missing on the opportunities to maybe finish and get a kill. And it's, generally speaking, always gonna be more pressure based compared to the healing based game, yeah, because if you do more pressure, ultimately you can force out more resources. You can never out sustain, even though there's a lot of sustain in this game. I don't think there's even comparable to Overwatch. There's such more emphasis on the pressure, but even here I think the pressure is still important. It's not like you
even in Even in Overwatch, you had sustain watch for a bit. You had like, there's been a lot of sustain matches in
Yeah,
Overwatch.
yeah, exactly. But even there, I could 100% say that the team who pressures better wins,
Yeah, the
and you,
pressure. That's the same for this
yeah,
game. Like, I think it's just pressure. Pressure's better, but I don't know
yeah.
what it is. Maybe it's like an off day for me. I'm playing way too like main Loki, no angles, no nothing.
Yeah, that's why we wanna find a way to poke them early. I want you to see your team, which is fine because if I'm in all charge, but also see an enemy which can be even the priority. Yes, see an enemy as well. And this just partially can also help with what is active happening, what are the active angles the enemy taking, so I can poke them. I can maybe try to be more aggressive as well. You will also see the top tier Loki, where they're gonna position the lot of long range sidelines. I actually, even in the masterclass, I know this is a rank game, but I think there was right away maybe the players like ML7 playing Loki and also some other good players as well. Let me see, maybe I have something saved just to emphasize the long range pressure. Okay, we got need the Loki. Maybe we can also use the example from the masterclass before. Give me a second. I will
Or
just go.
the Cyper one. I've
So,
been watching a lot of.
yeah, Sup is good as well. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of his videos recently, like just seeing how he sets his clones up, at least on the start of like a lot of maps, or seeing how he plays certain maps or positions he like defaults to or tries to move to.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he'll jump out of a
exactly.
strange portal and insta TP to the good position he wants to go to.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll usually see the long range sideline is so important. And just being able to do that early poke. For example, there was interesting example where you have the map with a lot of verticality and at the same time there are decent long sidelines. I think we watched this partially, we talked about the game sense part. I just want you to see later on. It's constant opportunity for us to do early pressure, go somewhere. Okay, let's just go back a little bit. Yeah, it's just constant. Okay, where do I go? Maybe I can place my clone over there, try to TP in, yeah, and see this perfect long sideline for us to control as much open space as possible. So not only
Mm.
heal option, which is perfect, I want to be able to heal the most active member, but also damage the most active member as well. So I'm constantly trying to do something from there, and it will be well, they're also breaking this because they need long sideline. That's why you can also search
Mm.
for the parts of the map which are breakable, obviously, and try to
No,
maybe farm, yeah, your
I
sidelines.
went
But
through with my teammate, went through like every map, just seeing what was breakable, what wasn't,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like what happens if we break everything.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So this is perfect and constantly long range uptime, pressure first. They also forming their long sidelines, making sure that there is somewhere they can put early pressure. Afterwards, we trying to move somewhere to help out the most active angle as well. But this is so crucial, and we kind of don't have this inside the space. Well, we didn't, and that's why you're gonna get out pressure. That's what happens. You've been able to heal up, but yeah, no, not much pressure. So, but mostly solvable to what you guys' plan is. I'm not gonna lie, if you
Yeah.
want to play in a team environment here. Okay, we still have the time. We can maybe look at anything else. Maybe just looks at the lens of the same stuff. Constant pressure, and make sure there's attention of the active angle. See how that is, and talk about that. Or if you
I
want to
think we
watch
have
another game.
the I think we have the same issue on a lot of our games. I think it was like a very like messy. We all played in one big clump. I think we were tilted for like not we, I wasn't, but I think a lot of my teammates were tilted for some of the matches, especially after we got like spawn held in one of our games, and so people just like it was people just like mentally were gone after that, and then we got like a platinum. We got our first platinum team afterwards, so we kind of felt a bit relieved. But that game, I think we had the same issue. They played like Moon Knight into us, and we fell apart because we played like this. I'm trying to find a game where I can show you. Maybe this one.
Yeah, of course. Let's
No,
start with whatever.
this is a weird game, but I'll send in.
Oh, if you want to do a different one, that's okay. Oh,
No,
also
yeah,
remember. Oh,
I'll send a ranked game in here. I was
yeah.
duo queued with the Hella.
Sounds good. Also remember, this session here, it consists of, it's not just 2 hours. We're gonna do, well, it's gonna be around 25 minutes and we're gonna finish. And then the another 30 minutes I will spend on doing offline review as well, just whatever you want me to look at. I think maybe we can bring up the group split, so we can also bring up the how do we disable activity. Yeah, we can look into that as well. Just make sure later on you send me 2 codes. I'll look into those and then I'll send you notes as well. Maybe what you guys can be doing better with the group splits if you want. Actually, what do you think would be valuable for the offline review afterwards?
For the offline review,
What do you
hmm,
want me to focus on later?
ooh. I think maybe I can't like. I want to look over like I'll record my next because I'll record my next set of tournaments, right? Because I have the closed qualifiers
Okay.
on Sunday, so I'll record those with comms and stuff and go over that in the session. I think maybe just focus on like me and my micro in the offline sessions.
Yeah, let's do
Not,
that.
not just micro, but like me and
Yeah.
my like personal stuff. I'm gonna be back. I'll be like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Take your time.
I come back.
All right. Yeah, let's continue. Yeah, we can
Yep.
definitely focus on the more personal stuff. I typically look through the lens of what we discussed before with you, just whatever the
Mm.
uptime, maybe the other activities. So I will look into that first, probably, but we can also look at the other smaller things as well if it's needed. Yeah, just make sure you're kind of actively able to implement all that stuff we talked about today, and then later on we I will just look at the offline review. How is everything? And it should be okay. Is that sounds good? Obviously, so the
Yeah,
lens of
of
what do you
course.
do mostly? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Right. So this one, anything you think you guys struggled with in here? So we mentioned kind of being too clumped up together. Maybe you
Oh, this wasn't
specifically.
this wasn't a this wasn't a team environment. This was a duo queued ranked game.
Okay.
So it's like a way different environment. There was no comms in this game,
Okay. Okay.
so I there was no comms except between me and my Hela.
Okay. Yeah. I
So
recognize
this
the
one's
name. Hmm.
yeah, this one's much more of a like yeah, this is just a ranked game rather than a team game. So like I have way less, and there's no comms. Like no one was in voice chat, so yeah, I can't really like do much planning or anything in this game.
That's fine. That's fine. What do you think you struggled with in here then? If there's anything, of course.
I'm
Still
gonna be
decisions
honest.
wise.
I don't think I remember. I don't remember this game very well. I remember actually we lost the second point on defense because I'm not fat fingered, but I accidentally copied the magic instead of my Luna, and I just entered die as magic.
So do you think was the biggest problem? for the
Oh,
entire match?
I don't remember I don't remember the match. I'm gonna be honest. I only remember that one ult.
Okay, that's alright, that's alright. Okay, maybe let's focus on the land, so what we discussed before, and maybe try to even nitpick on that stuff as well, if we need to. So I'm looking at this comp you got, and especially the character you play, and we can always come up with where our pressure can be, so it will be easier for you guys to stay alive, and also for the rest of your core to just do something as well. If you look at the enemy team, who do you think you're gonna be taking care of, first off?
On the enemy team?
Oh yeah.
You mean when I'm poking out or like pressuring
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, pressure.
a lot of the pressure will be on the DPS. They're very close range players, right? They got the
Yes.
magic and the Star Lord. They're very super close range. So I want to poke them out.
Yeah, yeah. I think
And I
you
also want to add this
mostly.
choke, and where I'm playing right now, I want to keep an eye on the Strange because he'll try to fly up
Yeah, they will try to
and
contest
try
you.
to push
Yeah.
me out.
Exactly, exactly. And see, like, we want you to constantly look into activity based on the rebels, right? Off angles, are they taking those, well, just general position, maybe somebody's at the front line as well, HP, cooldowns, and ultimates, right? And now, like, even this beats of pressure, you see, it's going into the Strange, but the fact given, those two guys have similar position. Okay, so let's kind of have the check mark. This has the check mark, this has the check mark too. Now, who is going to be more dangerous with the cooldowns? This guy on the right or this magic on the left in Syria right now? Well, maybe
As they are right
few seconds.
now,
A few
the
seconds later.
Strange. Oh, yeah. So
I don't know.
the Strange has this way more range pressure. Where the magic is right now, they aren't like a threat, right? As the magic is right now, she can like use all her cooldowns where she is right now. She will
Yeah.
she will do 0 damage. Whereas my Strange, the enemy Strange can fly up. He can do whatever. If the magic, maybe if the magic like flies in, she can pressure the Groot a bit. But I just don't see that the magic, and that's just like maybe an awareness thing. I don't see that the magic takes that like left side flank.
Yeah, there's still kind of a lot of the stuff happening, yeah, so I think maybe it was relatively fine, yeah, it was okay to pressure. I would still try to find a way, even though the Strange is might be more threatening was that position where they've been close. If they're using the shield, then find the target behind the shield if possible. Yeah, just try to sneak in a little bit more pressure on that in general. But yeah, other than that, you see, is I think partially.
I also
Mhm.
I need to move my clones around. I think especially because they're playing on mag, like playing double shield.
Yeah.
I need to have a clone like I get pulled off. I don't get pulled off playground, but I need to place a clone like somewhat like 90 degrees
Yeah.
to them just to work around the shield and do damage and heal. If they shield off my tank or whatever, or if they're trying to shield block off the damage, I can still get that pressure and still get that healing in if I
Yeah.
have the clone behind them. I think I have like
Yeah.
really poor clone uptime where I am right now.
Yeah, you see, yeah, exactly. You need to work around those targets because this is what gonna kill you later on. Like this guy over here, this exactly uses all his cooldowns, just gets up there, but your attention is being on.
Oh
the
yeah, my
Strange, I
attention,
think.
so my attention. I'm too focused on the Strange that I don't notice the magic
And
going.
yeah, so
And
this,
she flies up. She just yeah.
yeah, and that's why to me it's so important that you just finding those targets if they are. Let's put it this way. I think maybe to add one more variable as well. It's not only HP and the cooldown space, kind of, yeah, who can use what, but also who can do more burst. And I think Doctor Strange is not able to do a lot of burst unless they're really close with their dark power, right? If they are, then yes. If they're not, then I think magic, if they one dash away, can be more threatening. So probably putting more attention on them can be even more valuable. Yeah, just always look at this through the lens of the triggers. Yeah, what exactly has more power in a way? Yeah, based on position, cooldowns, burst capabilities. So you could pressure them early, and maybe these things will not happen, or at least there will be less success for them. Yeah, because maybe force out one TP and they can just dash away, and dash, and there's no TP, so it's gonna be harder for them to do something. Or maybe there's also something else, but you can always prevent that to just more awareness. Like I mentioned, decisions. Yeah, I'm keeping in mind what is more active. Like now, there's still magic somewhere. Yeah, do we know that? That's not one thing. I should have been going all this way. I been expecting maybe they could try to.
If I had the clone to swap out, I think if you go back like 10, 15 seconds
Yeah,
after I
just go.
drop down from the high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if a little bit further back, a little bit further back.
Yeah. Okay. So once you, yeah.
I think, yeah. So if I did that too late, and now I don't have a clone. If I had a clone here, like if I let my Hela die, if I let my Hela live, I play up there. But if my Hela dies and I don't clone and rune that, I just TP back to behind me here. Not behind me, but like to my right, like 90 degrees to my right on that high ground platform, and just like play up there with in range use my rune, and even if I don't have my rune, I can just poke out and play in a safe spot.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Yep. This.
But here, like I'm forced into main choke because I don't have the. I don't have my rune anyways. I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have just TP'd out and played a much more pokey style, or played much more poke-like.
And you will see there's kind of, yeah, exactly. There's just kind of what we mentioned before, was if I'm able to poke out early, I'm searching for positions with a more longer range space. Ideally, if I have you somewhere even over here, I think that's really decent. Yeah, I can try to just position and constantly try to have that uptime in poke. Yeah, I think you're right. But it's a lot about anticipation, my defensive rotation, but also what you could be doing before as well. Yeah, just trying to make sure those strats are not getting into us. But yeah, this is definitely right. It's not feeling too good. Whenever we have this perpendicular angle, this is more ideal for those brawl characters. They just speak out, okay, they fight with the full resources, so they like it a little bit more. We like more sharp sidelines in general. Kind of similar to our first game we talked about. Yeah, just find more poke options. So you're right, but yeah, you know that, but you see, it's important to fix. It's one thing to know, but it's also important to make sure you polish that at all times. Even that, let me see, the clone over there. I wonder if you need that clone over there, actually. So it was, what that for? Well, just kind of pressure,
that clone
just start to kill.
A, pressure on the invis.
Yeah, maybe
just to poke her out, do more damage, because I don't think my clone, like, back there reaches because of that, like, little bump in the ground. And so it's just more, and also because I know my team's about to walk up, and so I can continue to poke out the enemies while keeping my team up, like that.
Okay. Yeah, because while I'm asking this, I wonder, when we trying to have this uptime, also trying to sneak the times where you can again reposition on those long sidelines can be pretty great, unless you recognize there's a good reason why you're doing this. If I'm able to get a kill, I'm able to just maybe try to save my teammate. I think that's great. In here, it seems reasonable. Maybe the fact, given there's a wall, maybe we can hold on, but I think this is reasonable. It's okay. Just make sure you keep repositioning and walk at the sideline. Well, kind of.
Yeah, I wasn't able to, like, my other clone wasn't doing any damage to that invisible woman. I'm just seeing it now. It's shooting the floor because that little bump in the floor.
Yeah, it will.
Plus, again, it's also just a good clone for where I'm about to be positioned as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just here.
Yeah,
this is just for poking out.
But see, this wouldn't it be better if you, instead of walking this way, just keep the uptime going this way? What do you think?
Yeah.
Possibly.
No, I agree. I think here I need to go onto high ground. When the team fight starts, stay on high ground and just like copy my Luna and play on the high ground until I need to ult.
Constant uptime, yeah.
I don't think I do that here. I think I play on the low ground.
It's constant uptime, right? That's what we getting at. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Just find those ways for you to do so, especially before the fight. You want to try to deal with the active angles, but to do that, you also need to see them a little bit more. Just to make sure, okay, I have the better sideline, I can poke out this magic better. I can also help out in just in case you're Hala as well. But Yeah, this is okay-ish as well, but just last chances to do something. I think I'm eventually kind of searching for options. Yeah, what can I do? Maybe place the clone. Yeah, do you here, but it's too late because those guys
Yeah.
are already in, and and just a lot of
Yeah,
the
I should have
stuff.
copied. I
Yeah.
needed to copy Luna here. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see, just because of that, we're not able to support the activity. Yet this guy is the most active right now based on the position,
Yeah.
HP, cooldowns, and we're just not able to because no lone sideline. You need to control open space for us. Just for you is Loki. Little bit more attention. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay, you guys living. Luna to sustain. Well, I think it's fine. Usually gonna be one of the best things you can do. Just to resustain. Try to keep
Yeah, I
fighting
put on
there.
damage boost. Got a bit too greedy, my Hela dies.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's gonna be too easy for you guys to also just regain the tempo there, though. But yeah, that's so understandable. Okay, well, we went over a lot of things already, I think, and I just want to make sure we properly summarize, and if there are any questions, then you can ask those too. Let's just see. Maybe first off, what we went over with you today? The biggest things. What those been?
Team splits and planning. That were the two main things.
Okay, team
And then also
splits.
team splits and planning and like more active angles as well on Loki.
Yeah, yeah. This seems can be the priority. More active angles, yeah, based on our long range pressure. I think there was one, and remember what was the problem? It was partially also the team, but what was the problem with your setup on the bridge initially? For example, when you guys been the first map, yeah, Krakoa, yeah, I think
On defense or on
Krakow,
attack?
yeah, on well, let's say on defense, on defense, I think. Remember
Yeah,
the
we're
Star-Lord
just
flanking? Yeah.
yeah, we're stuff together. We're playing these really like even though we're playing quite a pokey comp with a Hela and a Loki, we're playing like really short sight lines in a box in like a box, and so a Star Lord's flanks,
Mhm.
and he's playing in his home turf,
Yeah.
and he got a lot of one clips off of the like way we were playing.
Yeah, exactly. It's sidelines, but you also need to find ways to deal to have distance. It's slightly different because you can have long sidelines, but it's just you also need to be able to have distance from those short range angles. In a way, it's might seem like the same thing, but in your case on the bridge, for example, you would be confident you have the long sideline on the choke, right? But those other angles which can get here, the short range, that is something you guys gotta deal with somehow too, and that's why you can come up with the different setups. We mentioned there can be two ways you can be more aggressive. I think taking the first fight there, I think it's worth to experiment with. I would definitely. I'm usually more fan of not waiting for the enemy to do something then reacting, but kind of make them to do something instead. Yeah, you can be even having like silly plan, but be on the same page. Even spawn camp, I think this is great. It's much better than just waiting for them to do a mistake, because this is much harder. It's much harder and takes a lot of time. I wouldn't recommend that, especially if you guys just started playing as a team. Even though it's been for a few months, so like even a year, I think it's not it's gonna be difficult. And usually just set up the tempo by yourself, but yeah, find the comfortable sight lines with the comfortable splits. You play around, yeah, and find out the splits as well. Hala plus Loki or Luna. Luna mostly supports with E, supporting with the most active angle, which we cannot see. That's how I would put it. Probably similar to Zenyatta. We on Overwatch we also would do the same. And you can be physically with the angle, but make sure it's not compromising your range, because Hala, sometimes I think they will be taking some mid-range angles which you don't like. Loki, yeah, that was the case. When they walk right side, I'm not sure you should be there on attack, yeah, because well, if you walk with them, if you walk different side, then maybe that's okay. Just make sure you have the lone sideline when you walk in. If not, then you can just have someone else to support them as well. Remember the TPs as well? There was one thing we just how to break through the choke. Well, just find a ways to take angles. That's simple answer. Yeah, but you need to be more creative about that. Splits, TP, yeah, can be big help. I would start with, if you guys don't have any splits right now, start with at least having two. And maybe this will help you out. Just remember that you can have one person responsible for absorbing pressure in a split, and other people are usually going to be doing pressure or support. Yeah, pressure or support. So keep that in mind. You can start with that. That's basic. Yeah, basic. Of course, there can be different types of splits. Yeah, for example, we can have one Star-Lord going on the angle by themselves, but just make sure there's something easy you can do at the start, and then you can bring up more specifics later, more nuances. Yeah, don't try to just solve something difficult. Yeah, it's like you need to learn 2 plus 2 first, and then you learn equations, you learn something else. Yeah, it's just the more comprehensive stuff. Always. Step by step. Okay. I think that's what we getting at. And activity, yeah, we mentioned disable support and disable active angles, and that is based on what so far? What are the triggers again?
Enabling support and enabling active angles will be based on the most active person on the team right now. So you base it on like positioning, you base it on whether they have their ultimate or not, and whether they're using their cooldowns at the time as well.
Yeah,
So if an Iron Man, for instance, used his E, or if the Emma has popped her diamond form, then they're going to be the most active person on the team. But also if my Iron Man has his ultimate, then he's going to be the most active person on the team. He'll be looking in, getting aggressive. Or my Groot, if he has ultimate, will be trying to walk forward to get the Groot ult off.
Makes sense.
So those will be the most active people on the team.
Yeah, I would look at that. I would maybe also just see who can do more burst at the moment. Usually those targets are important to solve somehow. Just anybody who can, like that magic, they can just go for the combo and quickly kill. Okay, Doctor Strange is also pretty important, but they have less power with the one shots unless they have that dark magic when they're really close. But yeah, something for you to keep in mind too. Just gotta somehow deal with those people a little bit more. Should be okay. All right, let's do for the next time then. We got, yeah, we can have more of a communication. Maybe just try to record that, maybe go over that later. It's just a normal session if possible. If you want to do a little bit more sessions related to the team as well, I think that's perfect. It's just maybe focus on your comms for the most part, but yeah, anything we can bring up as well, what can be helpful to you guys is good. But because you shot calling, that's why it's important for me to address that you able to be solving the problem for, well, just helping your team to solve the problem, because if you responsible for creating the plans, then there's a lot on you. Yeah, you can just talk to your team, do what you use, come up with the plans, think what you can try to practice later. Yeah, so it's on you. Yeah, it's your individual stuff too. So make sure you're able to practice that too. And yeah, comms might be good. And for you individually, let's just see first off how the progress with Uptime. And maybe if there are other characters who want to look at, that's good. And I think, yeah, let's just probably work around decisions in our case. Okay, I'm gonna work word it this way. Decisions and Uptime with question mark, and we maybe other characters if you want to, but if you play too many Loki, well, a lot of Loki right now, then it's okay. We can focus on Loki. Okay, do you have any final questions for today?
Ooh, wait, my mic is working. It's been cutting out recently.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay, if you had one, like, what's one thing you want me to like focus on? If there's one thing I can like look at and just completely like.
Just pick one from our list.
Yeah.
I think the most important, if we're talking about the team environment, that would be your splits, the plan. Yeah, being on the same page this way. If it's you individually, activity. Yeah, just make sure you start with that. Pretty much look at the what I'm supporting, disabling. That's it, because there have been a lot of times when our attention is not on point, or like you can also have the better position to be able to do so, in my opinion. Yeah, just the pressure is big emphasis still. Yes, so we need to do both. Yeah, support and disable. Disable is the first priority. That's what I would do. I will send you the summary. Of course, you can also look into that. Just make sure you work on one step at a time so far, and we'll be okay. All right.